I'm good. It's really good to see you.
Good to see you too. I was watching, maybe it's your Instagram, and you went into your closet and you have so many shoes.
Yeah.
It's so many shoes.
So many shoes.
Do you buy all those shoes?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I keep them from like music videos or like red carpets or tour or whatever. I get to keep them all.
So if someone gives you shoes,
yeah,
do you mostly get to keep them, or do you have to send them back if they're really fancy?
if they're really fancy, normally I send them back, or I'm like, I have to have these shoes, and then I see if I can buy them.
What about jewelry? Do you ever get loaned jewelry?
I'm not a jewelry person, actually, which is funny because I have some on right now, but this is like $5 from Claire's. Like, I'm not a jewelry person. The only actual jewelry I wear is my wedding ring.
Even for award shows, you're not like, I need the $5 million diamond.
No, I also don't like the idea of being responsible for that amount of money on my body. So yeah, no, I'm not into that.
Well, let me ask you this, because this is my concern. Do you ever post pictures of your closet, per se,
Okay.
and go, man, somebody could be mapping out my house, and they've created this, and they can come in and rob? I'm scared to death of that. Oh,
well, now I'm going to start thinking that. Well, it's interesting because we just moved from an apartment to a house. So that adjustment, like the first month or so, hearing like something in the backyard, it's just the wind, but I'm used to the interstate, you know? So every little thing it's taken getting used to for sure. But now I'm going to start thinking about people knowing where I live. So
well, I didn't mean to plant that seed. How is the dog? How's Dibs with the house?
He's good. I didn't realize how much poor like little puppy anxiety he had from he hates dogs. He got attacked at a dog park when he was like a little puppy. So all the dogs in the hallway to get down to the ground where he like could use the bathroom. It was just he was anxious all the time, and I felt so bad. So he's a happy boy now. I will say though, last night he woke us up at like 1 a.m. like sounded like something was terribly wrong. He found himself in the mirror at 1 a.m. For real. We turned on the lights and he was like tail tucked, hackles up, just like looking at himself in the mirror. And Morgan and I were like, this dog has lost his mind.
My dog does that too, and he doesn't even get it. He still does it. Like the 8th time, he still thinks.
Yeah, I'm like,
there's something in the mirror.
Sweet Morgan like got on the ground with him, touched the mirror with him, touched his face, then touched the mirror. I was like, I'm going back to sleep. This is too much.
I saw where Morgan Evans, your husband, was in his comments, and people thought that he was Morgan Wallen.
It happens all the time. People have said it to his face. They're like, hey man, I love your new record or whatever, and he's just like, he rolls with it. He's so easygoing.
Kelsea Ballerini is here, and we're gonna get to Hole in the Bottle in a second. Which big week for the song, going number 1, which is great.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
And so we'll get to that part of your life. But they sent me a note and said, hey, Kelsey's coming in. Do you want her to play anything? And I was like, well, why don't we kind of walk through the career of Kelsea Ballerini, which it all started with Love Me Like You Mean It.
Yeah.
Which feels like
forever.
Ages ago.
I know. We were like touring together back in that day.
Before you were even... I just remember sitting in the parking garage with you.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have an artist deal yet. You were writing.
Yep, you're right.
And
I know.
It was like, I got this song. And then boom, it's just crazy to think here you are now, the superstar that you are. And we were literally sitting under a tent in the parking garage going, dang.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 5.5 maybe.
Does it feel like that's flown by, or does it feel like that's just forever ago?
It's both. It depends on the day. I will say this whole last year, I think I've had obviously more time to reflect than I have since I started, and so I think it's starting to kind of sink in what's happened. Because before I was just like, I'm going to keep my head down and keep going until someone tells me to stop, you know, or it just stops itself. And so yeah, I think having this last year to kind of, you know, put my head up and look around and be like, wow, this is not what it was like 6 years ago. This is crazy, and especially now having another song kind of do what it's doing, it's really exciting.
Okay, give me a little. I don't need the whole thing of Love Me Like You Mean It.
I wish I had some exciting story about this song. I was signed as a songwriter. I was 19, and I was just trying to figure out what I was doing and like how to get a record deal. And I was writing kind of like the Dibs kind of songs at the time, and I was writing like 3 times a day. And at this particular day, I'd already done 2 sessions. It was at night. And me and my songwriter friends just ordered pizza into the publishing house I was at the time, and we wrote "Love Me Like You Mean It." And immediately I was like, "It's hooky. I really like this. It's kind of that fun, flirty, poppy feel too." And then it ended up being the song that kind of got me the record deal and solidified a sound that I'm still trying to make happen.
You know, you talking about being a teenager, and like Gabby Barrett's kind of going through this now. You know, who I was working with her when she was 17 on American Idol, and now she has a massive hit. But what do you say to someone like Gabby who's like, all right, I'm 19. I got a hit. Like, what in the world do I do now?
I keep your head down. I mean, I always say, like, the greatest gift I had was naivety. And it was, I didn't know that it was more difficult for females. I didn't know that, being on an independent label or being younger or any of that made it harder. I just kept my head down and worked really, really hard and did as many shows as I could and wrote as many songs as I could and just hoped that it would last. And I think that was, like, the greatest gift in the world for me.
I saw on your Instagram, at least for a while, are your comments still disabled?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm super sensitive, and I think that's a good thing. And I think for a long time, I was reading all the comments, and I would obviously, like, love the good ones, but I would find the bad ones, and then they would just, like, hurt my feelings. And I didn't want to get to a point where I was not posting and not sharing my life, because I really like to be that person that's an oversharer. I think it's relatable, and girls need to see that. And so, yeah, I was like, it's either me not sharing or me sharing and not caring about what people say. And so I just turned them off for a while.
I commend you for that.
Thanks.
And I'm you're not going to believe this or not, but I've never been a girl, right?
I know. What?
But I watch what Caitlin, my fiance, goes through.
Yeah, it's brutal.
People are so mean to her.
Yeah.
About her appearance, her body, about just anything, where she disabled hers, and then she said, you know what, I can actually just let people I follow comment. So there's an option and now she's gone, there's also a way that you can, you already know this, but I'm just talking about, because it's a struggle that I've never seen because I've never been a woman. Again, hard to believe.
Yeah, but guys go through this too.
Yeah, but me, I'm like, shut up.
Right.
You guys don't get as much about your appearance,
I don't get body.
though. Yeah.
I don't get body shamed that much. But there's a way to also eliminate certain words from your Instagram.
Oh, really?
Where she went through and was, because people call her the same stuff over and over again. So she went through and it was a weird
keywords in.
It was a weird time for us to pick all the words people say about her and go like, put this in there.
Man.
Yeah. Put gold digger in there, because people hit her. And it's not fair.
It's not fair.
Smart girl, master's degree, got her own job. Everything's rocking, but people are not fair.
Yep.
But when I saw you did that, I was like, good for Kelsea.
Thanks.
Because I know that had to be tough to do because you were also going to get pushback on doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it just is what it is. It's a personal decision, And I don't know. I think, again, this last year we've had all this time to kind of marinate with our own feelings and what we need and what we want and all that stuff. And I'm just like, I think boundaries are healthy, and that's a new boundary I have for myself.
The song I really like of yours is I Hate Love Songs.
I love that you picked this song. It's so random that you picked this song.
And it's, even when I was thinking, I was like, what are my favorite songs from Kelsea? And I have a lot of them, because your sound has definitely gotten more mature as you've gotten more mature, obviously.
Yeah.
But I really like this song because I felt like it, even on that record, it was a bit different.
Yeah, it was a waltz.
Yeah.
I really like to kind of zigzag with singles, and coming off of Legends, which kind of felt like classic and almost like cinematic. I wanted to try something that felt different, and that was I Hate Love Songs. It was a waltz, and then I knew we were going to pivot to Miss Me More after. So I don't know. I like kind of just showing the full spectrum of the album that I've made with the singles that we choose, and this one was definitely a choice that I'm really proud of.
I tried to watch some Bridgerton.
Yep.
Caitlin liked it. She watched it. I couldn't get into it, and I know Netflix said it was the biggest show they've ever had, and I can do chick flick type shows.
Yeah.
I just struggle with Bridgerton.
Yeah, I normally don't get into like period pieces, and so I was kind of turned off by the idea of it, and it took me a couple episodes to get in, but all my friends, I'm on a group chat with all my girlfriends, and they were like, dude, stick with it. And I was like, okay. But I did not make Morgan try it because I feel like he would have felt the same as you, just not into it.
So we stopped me trying on that show. Now we watch Kids Baking Championships.
No.
Which is the greatest show I've ever seen. You ever watched that show?
I haven't. But I have a new absolute infatuation in the kitchen. Like, I love cooking and baking and stuff, so that's a good one to try. If a kid can do it, maybe I can.
No, these kids are amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not even if a kid can do it.
In that case, I'm going to stick to singing.
It's like watching like an 11-year-old that goes to Harvard, and you're like, well, if he can go to Harvard, I can. No, some people are just different, even at 11 years old.
Yeah.
Kelsea Ballerini's here this week. Hole in the Bottle is going for number 1, which we're rooting for. We're going to help it, obviously. We're going to get there in a second. I know you guys are playing some songs for us. How about a little of Homecoming Queen, and kind of set that up for me?
Yeah. Well, this was, like I was saying earlier, I love to zigzag with singles, and this kind of felt like the perfect next step after Miss Me More and the perfect first step of this album. I really went through this kind of like personal journey of figuring out who I was at 20-something with Kelsea, the album, and I wanted it to feel like when you were listening to it top to bottom, you were on that journey with me, and it was vulnerable and it was super honest and it was awkward, and I wanted to share all of that, and Homecoming was the first song that kind of made me go down that path, and it's my favorite single I've ever released, to be honest with you.
Wow. Do you know what I like about that answer? Is that most artists will come in and go, you know what, this single I put out just now is my favorite and my most personal. It's okay to have one of your earlier ones be that.
And this wasn't my biggest hit at all, but it's just it was important to me, and it was the right song at the right time for me. So
this didn't go number 1?
No, it went I think it went 17.
Let me look at your number 1s. Miss Me More.
Yeah.
Love Me Like You Mean It.
Yeah.
Dibs.
Yep.
Peter Pan.
Yes.
Legends.
Yes.
You know what? I would have lost money on that because that song, not only is it the song that I know, but even just the question mark on the backside of it is so memorable.
I sent you a mug. Did you get it?
Oh, it's the best mug ever.
Do you have it?
Yes, because when you put hot coffee in it, you see Kelsea Ballerini. She shows up. It's just a question mark.
But I see that whenever I wipe my window down, she's outside the house usually looking in. She shows up.
Wait, but how do you say, because that's been the thing, like if we play it on Women of iHeart Country, I'm always, every time I read it and then I see the question mark, I'm like, here's Kelsea Ballerini, Homecoming Queen. I can't help but go up. So
however you want to say it is fine.
Well,
thanks.
Where do I go from here? In that you said, was healthy your word of the year?
Yeah.
Healthy. What does that mean to you?
Oh, God. All of the things. I feel like last year I was just kind of like, whatever to get in the name of getting through it, So I was just like driving through Chick-fil-A a couple times a week and probably drinking too much wine. And yeah, I don't know. I want to hold myself accountable. I want to be able to like feel great and live the life that I want to live. And that's like mentally and physically and all that. So I'm just taking care of myself.
Do you remember the last crowd you played to?
Yeah, it was it CRS? I think it was CRS for like Amazon.
Last year.
Last year, CRS.
Yeah.
It might have even been before CRS. Yeah, so it was like an industry crowd and it was the first time I played Hole in the Bottle. It wasn't released yet, and it was the last time I also played Hole in the Bottle to people. So
isn't that crazy?
Womp womp.
But it's almost time, We're starting to kind of rev the engines a little bit.
I feel that. It's starting to feel like we'll figure it out this year. So fingers crossed. I'm ready when it's safe.
Well, so obviously I'm getting married this summer. I expect you and Morgan to be there. You'll get the invitation, all that. But with the band, what songs should they know so when you get up there to play during the reception, you're ready to go?
Well, it's funny. Like with Hole in the Bottle, it was the last song I wrote for the record. And like I was saying earlier, I wanted this whole record to be like very emotional and like, oh, she's growing up, like you were saying. And then we wrote Hole in the Bottle as a drunken joke and listened to it back, and I was like, this is the song to round out the album. This is the song for the live show. Like I put it on the album to play it live. Like that was the whole point of it. And then last year, it just seemed like the perfect song, and even now, obviously, just because people still need an escape. They need to laugh. They need to feel light and happy, and this is like escapism in a song form. But I put it on the record to play it live. So
again, back to the question. My wedding band, if they learn Hole in the Bottle, this is the song you want to get up at the reception and sing.
I'm not a big love songs person, a la I Hate Love Songs. So, yeah, I feel like this is what I can contribute.
Okay, mark that down.
All right.
Tell the band to learn Hole in the Bottle.
I'll bring you sparkling grape juice.
When you ask Shania to be on the song, do you do it?
Man.
Or are you so nervous you have somebody do it in case she wants to say no?
Every collaboration that's ever happened, it was me reaching out.
I remember you said that about Kenny Chesney. You reached out.
Yeah, I texted him. I have no business ever texting Kenny Chesney. But I just had like I went on a whim. I was like, let's do it. I don't know. I feel like unless you feel like you can personally reach out, it's probably not the right collaboration. So.
And you texted her, and how long until you got the bubble back? Did you see the bubble? Or?
What's crazy about Shania, I haven't told this story yet, but early in quarantine, she emailed me, and she was like, hey, I'm working on a project. I want to do something together. Let's send stuff back and forth until we find something. And so for like 3 or 4 months, she would send me a chorus. I would send her a chorus that I wrote, and we'd just kind of be like, that's not quite it, but like, let's keep digging and let's find something. And it wasn't until we shot the video for Hole in the Bottle, a lot of the outfits I tried to kind of tip my hat to Shania, like the Man I Feel Like a Woman and all that kind of stuff. So I watched the video back and I was like, wait a second, this song, it's her vibe anyway. It's like, fun and kitschy. Like I emailed her and I was like, what about this? It's already out. I kind of, tribute you in the video. Are you down? She was like, yeah. And we've had lots of wine together, Shania and I, so it made sense.
So here's what I heard in that story. Great story, but I heard you told Shania, man, that's not it. That's what I heard. That she sent you something and you said, nah, Shania, that ain't it.
I'm really trying. I did, but she did too. Yeah.
Well, I get her. She did. That's Shania.
I know, it's Shania.
I was like Howard Stern. I'm like, nah, that ain't it, Stern.
It's the cool part because we respect each other, and that's why it's such a fun collaboration.
No, that's cool. I'm just
She is the queen of all queens, though. Yeah.
Listen, good to see you. I'm proud
of
you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Tell your lovely husband Morgan I said hello.
I will.
Reed, great job. Why don't you play us out with just that guitar part, A Hole in the Bottle? All right, everybody. Kelsea Ballerini, everybody.
Yeah.
We're out of here.
Could he come do that every day live?
Doesn't it just make you want to
That'd be fun, yeah.
Go to Broadway, go to Legends.
It's a Bobby Bones show.
Hey.